For pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975, Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Billy Tom Matthews, age 84 of Winneboro, died January 10th at Citizens Baptist Medical Center in Talladega. Funeral service will be Saturday at 2 p.m. from Curtis & Son North, with the Reverend Brian Blakely officiating. The station is this evening from 5 till 8 at Curtis & Son North. Online condolences at curtisonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. Matthews was a member and deacon of the Plainview Baptist Church. Memorial service for Cynthia Gallops Giles, age 54 of Goodwater, will be today at 3 o'clock in Curtis & Son North. I'll be officiating that service. The station will be held 1 hour prior to the service. Mrs. Giles died Saturday, January 6th at Grandview Medical Center. Online memorials at curtisonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Judy M. Scott, age 92 of Sylacauga, died Tuesday, January 9th at Sylacauga Health and Rehab. Funeral service will be held today at 1 o'clock. I'll be officiating that service as well. The station 2 hours prior to the service, all at Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel. In lieu of flowers, donation can be made to the Central Alabama Alzheimer's Association. Online memorials at curtisonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. Thomas Franklin Butler, age 39 of Ashland, died Wednesday, January 10th at UAB in Birmingham. Graveside service will be held today at 2 p.m. from Fayetteville Cemetery, with the Reverend Mark Deason officiating. The station today at Curtis & Son North from noon until 2. Online memorials at curtisonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. Freddie Mac McDaniel, age 60 of Childersburg, died January 9th at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Funeral service will be held Saturday at 2 p.m. from Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, with the Reverend Heath Webb officiating. The station 11:30 until 2 p.m. Saturday at Curtis & Son, Childersburg Chapel. Burial in the Green Hill Memorial Gardens. Online memorials at curtisonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Kenneth Ray Hubbard is today at 11 a.m. from Ursery Funeral Home Chapel, with burial in the Midway Memory Gardens. Mr. Hubbard worked in construction and most of his life. He passed away at St. Martin's in the Pines in Birmingham on January 10th. Ursery Funeral Home, Talladega, directing. Graveside service for Mr. Roy Wilson, age 45, is today at the family farm in Fayetteville on 7 Sweet Gums Road. That service begins at 3 o'clock. Mr. Wilson died January 6th at his residence. He is a graduate from Fayetteville High School and attended the University of Alabama. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org. Community Funeral Home, directing. Graveside service for Mr. Sam Wilson Jr., age 72, is today at the family farm on 7 Sweet Gums Road in Fayetteville at 3 o'clock. Mr. Wilson died January 6th at his residence. He was a native of Sylacauga and a retired state trooper with 18 years of service. He also served in the United States Army, 82nd Airborne Division. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org. Community Funeral Home, directing. Celebration of life for Mr. Herschel Hawkins Jr., age 70, is today at noon from Southside Baptist Church, with Pastor Marvin C. Jones officiating. Sims Funeral Service, directing. Funeral service for infant Olivia Faith Morgan of Alexander City is Saturday at 11 from Rocky Creek Baptist Church, with the Reverend Harold Cummings officiating. Burial in the Rocky Creek Cemetery. The family receiving friends tonight, 5 until 7 at the funeral home. Olivia died Tuesday, January the 2nd. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home, directing. Funeral service for Johnny Lynn Osborne, age 54 of Alexander City, is today at 2 from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Marty Adams officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends today, noon until service time at the funeral home. Johnny died January the 9th at Russell Medical Center. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home, Alexander City, in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for Ms. Maybelle Tucker, age 87 of New Site, is today at 11 from New Salem Baptist Church with the Reverend Tom Drake officiating. Burial in the Bethlehem New Salem Cemetery. Ms. Tucker died Wednesday, January 10th. She was a member of the New Salem Baptist Church. Radley Funeral Home directing. Memorials can be made to the New Salem Baptist Church, 13930 Highway 22 East, New Site, Alabama, 36256. Funeral service for Robert Larry Cooper, age 74 of Talladega, is today at 2 o'clock from Ursery Funeral Home Chapel. A private burial will follow in the Pine Hill Memorial Park. Mr. Cooper was a member of the Mount Vernon Baptist Church in Sylacauga and a retired Baptist minister. Online condolences at urseryfuneralhome.com, Ursery Funeral Home directing. Stephen Franklin Weathers died at his residence January 4th. A memorial service will be held today at 4 p.m. from First Presbyterian Church in Alexander City. The family requests contribution be made to the Multiple Sclerosis Society or to the First Presbyterian Church in Alexander City. Funeral service for Deborah Holmes Brewer, age 56 of Sylacauga, Saturday at 1 from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Dr. Wayne McDaniel officiating. Burial in the Fayetteville Methodist Church Cemetery. Mrs. Brewer died January the 11th at her residence. She was a member of the First Free Will Baptist Church. Visitation tonight at the funeral home from 5 till 7. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com, Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Visitation is Saturday for Georgianne Oliver Veazey. Visitation at Radley Smith Funeral Home from 1 until 3, and then at 3 a memorial service will take place. In lieu of flowers, the family has requested that friends and family donate a children's book to the B.B. Comer Memorial Public Library or make a monetary donation to the Sylacauga Animal Shelter in her honor. Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Philip D. Fry, age 69 of Alpine, is Saturday at 11 a.m. from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Brother Harold Kelly officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery of Sylacauga. Mr. Fry died Tuesday, January 9th at UAB in Birmingham. Visitation tonight, 5 until 8 at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com, Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. And funeral service for Candy Pickens, age 33 of Sylacauga, is today at 2 from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Reverend Gene Griffith officiating. Burial in the Tallahatchie Cemetery. Mrs. Pickens died January 8th at Grandview Medical Center. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com, Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Ruby S. Bombi, age 94, is Saturday at 2 from First Baptist Church South in Pell City. Pastor Jeffrey Wilson officiating. Interment in the Rocky Zion Community Cemetery. Sims Funeral Service directing. Funeral service for Mr. John L. Jackson is Saturday, January 13th at 2 p.m. from New Life Christian Center in Ashland. Pastor Stu Roca officiating. Interment in the City Cemetery of Ashland. Public viewing is Saturday from noon until 2 at New Life Christian Center. Zion Memorial Funeral Home in Sylacauga directing. Mr. Charles Lee, age 53, died January 10th in Sylacauga. Community Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. Funeral service for Jansen Tide McBurnett will be Saturday at 11 a.m. from Blue Eye Baptist Church with burial in the Blue Eye Cemetery. The family will receive friends 9:30 until 11 a.m. at Blue Eye Baptist Church on Saturday. Ursery Funeral Home will direct that service. Bishop Heron Munn Jr., age 63, died January 10th in Sylacauga. Community Funeral Home announcing. Homegoing celebration for Mary E. Smith, age 82, is 1 o'clock Saturday at Rocky Mount Baptist Church with interment in the church cemetery. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Online condolences at terrysmortuary.com, Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary directing. Homegoing celebration for A.D. Swain, age 78, is 1 o'clock today at Antioch Baptist Church with interment in the church cemetery. The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary directing. Homegoing celebration for Betty J. Swain, age 69, is at 11 o'clock Saturday at Antioch Baptist Church with burial in the church cemetery. Mrs. Swain The body will lie in state at the church 1 hour prior to the service. Online condolences at terrysmortuary.com. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary directing. Funeral service for Mr. Justin E. Twyman, age 19, is Saturday at Rushing Springs Baptist Church in Talladega at 1 o'clock. The Reverend Clarence Woodward officiating. Burial in the church cemetery. Visitation today, noon until 1 p.m. at Rushing visitation will be held Saturday, noon until 1 at Rushing Spring Baptist Church. Mr. Twyman died January 8th in Talladega. Community Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Jerry Lewis Turbo Thomas will be noon Saturday at Wright's Funeral Home Chapel, with burial in the Pleasant Home Baptist Church Cemetery. Visitation is today, 4 until 6 p.m. Wright's Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Stephen Max Fouquet, age 50, of Equality, is Saturday at 10 a.m. from the chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Reverend Bobby Anderson, along with Dr. R.D. Wood officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends today, 5 until 7 at the funeral home. Mr. Fouquet died Wednesday, January 10th at his residence. He was a member of the Rehoboth United Methodist Church. Memorial message may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City, in charge of the funeral arrangements. This obituary report is brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361 for pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.